Breaking news, everybody. I guess by the time this video's out, it's no longer breaking news, but Adam Schefter just put it out there that Maxx is getting traded to the Ravens. The Ravens officially on Wednesday, I guess, because that can't be done just now. But the supposed thing is that we're getting a first-round pick this year and a first-round pick next year for Maxx Crosby. I don't think that's a good trade, man. I'm livid. I expected a this year. I expected at least give me a safety that, a second string safety at least, bro.
Right? Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, something.
Yeah, man, it's a shame. Adios, Maxx. Somber,
Let the tears flow.
bittersweet. I guess we do need that second pick in the first round this year. That's gonna be coming in handy. But overall, man, I think that's a cheap trade. I think he's worth a lot more than that.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Definitely. I mean, like, there's a rumor that the Eagles made Jalen Carter available. Now, I don't know if it's Jalen Carter for Crosby or if it was Jalen Carter plus something for Crosby. If it wasn't a first and Jalen Carter, then I guess, they weren't going to be interested in that. But yeah, I mean, at least the Ravens missed the playoffs this year, so it's going to be, a sort of like mid first round pick, and then go be like a late one. But next year it's probably, either winning the Super Bowl or a deep playoff run. So next year's first is going to be later on, but at the same time, it's like we'll have our quarterback this year, so it's like, that's more of like hoping to hit on the pick. And this year that's coming, well, next year is coming up, supposed to be a better draft with more quality players like all around. So, that's always a good thing to have multiple picks. But yeah, I mean, look, it was heating up these past couple of weeks, and it was Cowboys and Bears, and then it switched to another team. Then the Ravens were like last minute, Eagles and Ravens were last minute, and then boom, he's in Baltimore. So I'm just glad I don't have his jersey,
Yeah. I have his jersey, and I will keep it, and I'll frame it, and I'm gonna put it next to Khalil Max and and Marshawn Lynch, and that's about the only ones I got. So, anyways, it's a shame. It's a sad day for Raider fans, man. Max, Killer Max, bro. But at the same time, he didn't meet the timeline, right? I mean, obviously, we're going younger. These guys, Jalen Carter. A lot of people saying, that he could have been definitely a good fit because he had fit that timeline. But if they were to trade that guy, bro, he would have come in with some package. I was looking into it and just, I remember he spit on Prescott, right? I mean, those kinds of actions. Bro, it's like a little emotional.
That's true.
And some things like that. So it would have had another Wilkins issue on our hand, I think. But anyways, I mean, I think, the team is getting younger, and Max, obviously, he's aging and he's been there for a while, even though he's the embodiment and the, I know I said that I didn't want to see him go, and I didn't want to. I still want to see him on the team, but now it's gone. It's happening. I got to give props to the man and farewell and wish him the best, man. But, Maxx Crosby.
I mean, definitely.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is his highest point when it comes to value. Like, next year would not have been the same. He is coming off an injury, but the type of worker he is, I think he'd be back to normal, like no problem. So I don't see no issues like that for the Ravens. But yeah, I mean, like, I don't expect us to be in the playoffs this coming season. By year 2, I definitely will think that. And by that time, though, he's talking about he's being 31. That's like peak prime. And after that, that's when you start, losing a bit of a step. So yeah, I mean, we got the best we could out of him. I mean, the fact that we got 2 firsts, because I know that they were asking for 2 firsts in a player. Experts were saying that, that's a steep price. They'll be lucky to get like a late one and, a second and maybe a later one, or, a really good player in the second. So the fact that we came out with 2 ones kind of, made it seem like, oh, that's pretty good because, Micah, 26-year-old, younger and I guess better, pass rushing wise better. He got 2 firsts and a Pro Bowl player. So, for Max being 29 years old, they're going to have to give him a contract, coming off an injury. 2 first round picks is pretty good. It could be our future end right there, a corner, or maybe that's where we get our O line of the future. So, yeah, we got something for him. It's time to move on. It sucks. But like we talked about a couple of shows ago, like we had him and we're still last place with sacks. Like, we're getting rid of him. We're still in the exact same position we were in, you know, with less money and 2 first round picks. So,
Yeah.
yeah, or more money. I'm sorry.
Yeah. More money. But speaking of money, we let go of also Gino, and
Gino.
that's 18. We paying the guy 18, right? Just for letting him go,
Yeah.
and so. I
So we
mean,
save 8 mil.
yeah. We save 8 mil, and that 8 mil can go to somebody, but or not, right? It can
A
go to
backup
AOC, I
quarterback.
guess, for another year. Huh?
It's gonna go to another backup quarterback.
Yeah, I know.
No.
That's what I'm saying. AOC. You know,
Yeah.
I've heard even Derek Carr's name being thrown around, which it makes sense because he had Clint with the Saints, but I don't see
And the
Derek Carr
Saints, yeah,
coming
and
back.
I'll take a car for like the first 4 or 5 games because once he gets
Yeah,
the jitters, starts getting
yeah.
scared, then you're like, all right, Mendoza, come inside.
Well,
But yeah, I mean, I
Philip
would have
Rivers
liked
came back.
Gino. Yeah, right. Philip Rivers came back. I mean, I like what's his name, Kirk Cousins. I would like Kirk Cousins coming in, or even Joe Flacco. Come in, get 3 or 4 games, and then after that, Mendoza's ready. He's learning off of a professional. It doesn't get as professional as Joe Flacco. Kirk Cousins, mentor and everything. He did that in Atlanta, so that wouldn't be another step for him. And who knows? Maybe Kirk Cousins does play good, and Mendoza sits for the year and learns, and then next year he goes and takes off. But that just means Kirk Cousins got us like playoff hunt style and things like that. So other than that, if we're not like going to make the playoffs, then you take Kirk Cousins out, you let Mendoza learn on the field. So yeah, I mean that's the route I would take. I would be upset if we end up paying like a lot more for a backup quarterback because at that point it's like we should just keep Geno Smith, see what he can do with Clint. Like I know the relationship between the Raiders and your fans and Geno Smith, but man, it's business. The whole point is to teach our future how to be a professional. Just like don't do
Yeah,
the off the field,
I
fan
mean,
stuff,
it
but
made a
just
lot of
do
sense
the
to keep him. I
studying.
don't know why. I don't
Yeah,
know why you
yeah,
got to worry about. But anyways, I mean, I get it. He screwed up last year, and you know, he didn't. You're not gonna
yeah.
put the guy on the field just because of that.
Exactly. And maybe he said something because we don't know exactly what happened, but maybe he said he's like, hey, I know you guys are drifting first round, but I'm not looking to sit back seat, so you know, get me out. And then they just like, all right, we'll release you. So because if you look at it, Kyler Murray was released. Kyler Murray is younger, faster, better arm, more success, and still nobody wanted to trade him. So I was like, I get why releasing him instead of trading him because that's just probably what it was. But yeah, like if we need a backup quarterback, he knows how to study. He knows how to do all this stuff. He knows how to approach the game. And I still honestly believe like the issue was not him. It was Pete Carroll and our OC, bumping heads and changing everything. So if Chip Kelly was able to just beat Chip Kelly without Pete Carroll, getting involved, then I think he would have been a better Geno Smith. So, but we'll see.
I'm
I
glad
watch
you
he's gonna go to
mentioned
like Minnesota.
Chip Kelly, bro. There's an article here that I was reading from the Just Blog Baby. Las Vegas Raider fired the 18 million offensive coordinator Chip Kelly partway through the 2025 NFL season. And then, however, fans still recall the reports about his perceived incompetence while coaching the Silver and Black. So I guess he didn't really blend in with the team as much. Didn't like, you know what I mean? Have that that family feel to it. Like I guess
Yeah.
he was just coaching
I
from a
mean, I would
distance.
believe that too. Yeah, I mean, but then you also hear that like with Pete Carroll getting involved and trying to change lingos and and all the confusions that was going on the offense. So we don't know because the one thing about Chip Kelly was supposed to be is that he's bringing in some advanced offense. He's going to play to our strengths, and
Right. That's what I
none of
thought
that
too.
happened.
That's what. Yeah.
So and that's what he's known for. In college with the Eagles, all of that with the Niners just just wore itself out. So, but hey, we got a better. I guess we got a better mind, Clint Kubiak. More. What do you call it? NFL friendly system. They like I said, they keep it basic and simple. They try not to make it complicated, super quarterback friendly. So I
That
feel like we're in a
accountability,
better
hopefully, on
spot.
the O line.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Like, hey, if your son is not doing the job, fire him. But yeah, I mean, look, I think we're in a better position. Pete Carroll was always going to
Right.
be a short term thing anyway. He wasn't going to be with us for like 10 years. He's lucky to go past next year. So it's like, this time we got a quarterback of the future, starting with our head coach of the future. That's a good 10 years right there, at least, if everything works out, like it's supposed to. Shit might be 15, 20 years. So yeah, everything works out in the end.
That is true. I mean,
Mm.
I hope so because it doesn't look like there's some as far as free agency goes. Right? We talked about the QBs, and quarterbacks, then, but we discussed is
Yeah.
other positions like obviously the center. Right? We got Tyler Linderbaum.
Linderbaum. Yeah.
Linderbaum. Linderbaum.
Linderbaum? Mhm.
Yeah, something like that.
Linderbum
But
bum?
anyways,
Yeah.
he'd be obviously the go-to, right? Somebody the Raiders are everybody's saying that the Raiders are going to go after, or could they go in the draft for the center that we want to fit the
I mean, either
team?
they could go to the draft for the center or they could just move JPJ. But yeah, if you could get Linderbaum and then JPJ as guard, then you can focus the draft on something else. You clearly need an end now. So you could just kill that. But at the same time, is that we could get our ends through the free agency. Kavion Chason is back out there.
Yeah,
We can pick him up. We still could give a chance to what's his name, Kunta, and see what he can do. And there's a few pass rushers out there that we can take a chance on. See what we can
uh,
get,
well, there's the
and
edge
and then
rusher.
put
Trey
our
Hendrickson is still out there too.
Trey
So
Hendrickson too. Yeah, if you want to throw him a lot of money, say, hey, we'll give you a year, and here's like a shit ton of money.
but he's about the same
Uh,
age as Max. So I mean, and he's not
yeah,
even. He's a lot less
but he
effective
might
than
want to
Max.
go to
So
like he
it'd be
might
dumb
like
to
want to
throw
go to
hella
the
money at him.
Cowboys or something.
Huh?
Well, he
You
might
rather go
want
to
to
the
go to the
Cowboys?
Cowboys or one of these other teams. For somebody like us that's, not a playoff contender or anything like that, we would have to throw extra money. So, maybe because that's his whole thing. He's been wanting to get a whole contract with the Bengals, and they just kept franchise tagging him, because he wanted the money. So now he had the down year because of the injury. They didn't re-sign him, so they lost him for nothing. So, we give him 18 mil, it's 15 mil, give him a chance to bring his value back up. Then we can either re-sign him or we can franchise tag him and then trade him and, and go that route. So, there's options. There's I think the dude from the Chargers, Odewa, I think he's a free agent as well. Khalil Mack is still out there, so that's another good like 1 year thing. 'Cause he's like 35, 36. So
Yeah, he's a lot older. I
so
mean, I might
yeah,
as well
I mean
stick with
that's
Jamal Adams.
exactly. I mean, and they hopefully they keep Jamal Adams too. So because he did his part. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And then the rest of the free agency, I guess maybe linebackers. The draft we focus on D line, corners, O line, receivers. I
Yeah,
don't think we're gonna go after big money receivers.
yeah. There's
So
only one at least in the
yeah,
top. Is
the
Alec
dude from the
Pearson. He's going
Colts.
to Patriots. Yeah,
Yeah, Patriots or Bill. Yeah, no, yeah, Patriots because the Bills just traded for somebody for
yeah.
DJ
So
Moore from the Bears.
you mentioned
So
Mike Evans before when we were talking.
yeah,
Mike Evans could be a
if the money's
potential as
right.
a teacher, right? As that little like that Lockett type player
Yeah,
that
like
we
the little
got
mentor.
last year.
I mean, he's good enough to be our
Yeah,
starter. He's definitely good enough to be our starter, but he's more of a like 1 2 year thing. So if he
yeah.
could
That's what I'm saying.
teach Thornton, because Thornton's a big receiver, but with speed,
Mm,
he could teach him how to use his body, how to train and everything like that.
yeah.
And so because that's what was badass about Mike Evans. He's like a red zone bully. He's just gonna
Okay.
outmuscle you. He's
So,
gonna
mm,
so
okay.
So yeah, I mean that's a good positive. I mean he could be imagine him with Tucker, and then Thornton and Besh, rotating off of each other.
Yeah.
That's not bad. And then yeah, O line. I know there's a few guards out there that Wyatt and a few other ones that can't come up with that we can also take a chance on. and fill in some holes because you never know. Like if we don't get a center, then that means JPJ would be center, and we still need 2 guards. So one of them could be a free agent. And then we hit the draft. Whatever we don't hit, then let's see what we can get in trade, or if anybody gets cut, we go through preseason. Any surprise preseason cuts, we bring them on the team. So, I mean, I have faith in Spytech because I feel like the Raider move would be, we keep Crosby and then we trade him next year for like a bag of peanuts for like a 4th round and a 5th round or some shit.
Yeah, no,
Like
they're making
this is like
moves
a
that
whole
are they're making moves that are
yeah,
risky.
like exactly. And they're like what franchises that are, trying to be successful do.
Right.
They get the timeline pieces, they get rid of their
Right.
luxury pieces for good draft hauls, not just to get rid of them. So, like, yeah, I'd rather keep Crosby because of what he can teach the other players to do. Like that mentorship is hard to take away. But then 2 first-round picks, one of them this year being, I think, early 20s or late teens. And that's for a team that needs a lot of the parts.
Yeah, no, you're right, bro.
And then
I like what you said there about the timeline. Is that
Mhm.
basically this is what it looks like. They have a plan, right? That
Yeah,
this
exactly.
group here is gonna be progressed into this, 3 or 4 year
Together.
plan. Exactly, and together, exactly, cohesiveness, and hopefully that is the
Yeah.
case, because you're right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only way that makes sense here to get younger, and
Yeah.
and they're not doing the same old Raider shit, which is
Same
keeping
old Raider
the
shit,
player,
exactly.
yeah, and then
Yeah, 'cause if
exactly
let's
trading him
say
for a bag of nuts, like you said.
let's say what, 20, let's say 2, 3 years. Let's be generous, 3 or 4 years, we
Yeah,
get into the playoffs. Then we're talking about a 32 or 33-year-old Max, he could be, just a guy there at that point, Yeah, he has hustle, but he's not there for the whole game. He ends up being a rotation piece. Now we're paying him 35, 40 million a year to be just that guy. And in the end, we're going to trade him or cut him, take the big massive pay cut, or the cap hit, and nothing. So yeah, yeah. I mean, it's tough, and he plays so hard that he wears his body down. So it's like,
yeah.
yeah, it
Yeah,
hurts,
no,
but
that's what
these
we
are the
said.
moves you got to
I mean, the
make.
last time we spoke, it was exactly the same thing, right? He's a little older now. I mean, he had, his time where he never missed a game, and then the last couple of
Right?
years, he has a couple here and there, a couple
Yeah.
banged up knee issues or whatever. He just had surgery this off season.
Right. Exactly. For
So
meniscus. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
And let's be honest, he deserves
makes
it,
sense.
man. He deserves to be in the playoffs. Like you have to reward that mentality, that the way he plays. Like it would have been such a just not a good legacy for him if he stayed with us and we never made it to the playoffs where he could show out. So at least that with Baltimore, they have Lamar. They have Minter. People really love the Raiders. Really loved Minter. So
Yeah.
he has a great coach. He has a great quarterback. He has a defensive minded coach and foundation in Baltimore. He's the Ray Lewis. He's basically going to be the Ray Lewis of their defensive end.
Yeah,
He's going to be
exactly.
that energy that
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
just gonna suck when
congratulations
Mendoza
over
looks
there
across
in
and sees him.
Baltimore. They'd like to take what we always get and kind of fuck it up somehow. Slash
we'll
Gruden.
see.
I mean,
We'll see.
Gannon, Goose, Sarah Goose over there landing on Gannon.
Oh,
So
Goose.
yeah,
Hopefully, number 2 runs over number 98 when we see him on the field.
that's right. That's right, baby. Let's go.
Yes.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Rated personnel. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment. What are your thoughts?
Raiders.
Is this a good trade? Is this a good trade? Do you like the trade? I don't like it. I think he's worth more.
Yeah. Definitely. And Raider Nation, get the crying out tonight. Tomorrow's a whole new day.